You know, guys, last week I fell victim of making assumptions, right? And for a moment, I lost my peace. And I thought today, what best thing to talk about that really take away your peace on a daily basis than assumptions, right? So today I want to talk to you about don't make assumptions for peace sake. I am Pulaa Montz, your inner voice magnified. So guys, last week I was writing my first exam, right? On Friday. So we had leftovers. I had cooked on Thursday, but then I decided, let me leave these leftovers for my husband since, well, I'm not going to be able to cook. I'm writing in the evening and I'm studying throughout the day, right? So sometime during the day, we spoke, me and him, and I made mention of the fact that, I didn't eat, but I decided to leave him the leftovers. I'll probably have bread or something, right? So later on, he comes through and I dish up for him. I give him those leftovers. And it was a lot, according to me. So I was hoping that since, well, we had that discussion about me not having food, me just eating bread, this food is just too much. So he will leave a little bit for me. So I sat next to him and he enjoyed his supper. He just continued to eat and eat and eat. And the next thing I know, when I looked up, the plate was clean. Oh my gosh, I was so horrified. I couldn't believe it, right? Then I said to him, did you really finish all that food? And then he says, was I not supposed to finish the food? Like, but I haven't had food. I thought maybe the food was just too much. You are going to leave some and I'm going to, get to eat the food. Oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. Then I went to the kitchen, all with an attitude. I went to the kitchen and made myself bread, just put butter on bread, and I just ate it like that without even making some tea, right? Just to hit send the point across that, what, I am that hungry. I don't have time to even make myself some tea, right? And then he was sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, what's wrong with you, right? But if you know my husband, he wouldn't say anything. He just looked at me like, right? So I sat there, but after eating my bread, then I remembered all these teachings that I normally give you. Then I came back to my senses and I started laughing and I said to him, you know what? I really thought you would leave me some food, but I don't know why I didn't ask, right? So I made assumptions. I thought because we had this conversation about me not eating the whole day, he should know that I also want some food. He should leave some for me. But guys, assumptions are dangerous because, when we're making assumptions, we are basically saying people around us are identical twins. I don't know. In terms of our mindsets, in terms of the way they look at things, in terms of the principles that they have, right? But we always set ourselves up for disappointment when we make assumptions, especially where other people are concerned. You can make assumptions about whatever, but never make assumptions where you expect somebody else to do something for you or you need something from somebody. The only way to get what you want from people is to communicate your needs, right? It is so important to make sure that we put our points across. We put the messages across. You don't expect people to just be there and think the way you do, right? Because it is unreasonable for people to expect me to know what they're thinking, right? So as much as it is unreasonable, it was also unreasonable for me to think that my husband would know that. I've been in the house the whole day. So maybe he assumed that I made a plan. I ate something, but I didn't. And I assumed that he should know that I didn't eat. Do you see how ridiculous that even sounds, right? So I thought, you know what, that's a beautiful example to make for you, to show you how we give away our peace on a daily basis for things that don't even make sense, right? So I wonder how many of you are angry right now. You are upset either with your child, with your partner, with your parents, with a colleague, with a friend, right? You are really annoyed at the moment. You are not talking to them because you made certain assumptions about what you expected them to do, and they didn't do as you expected. Now you are boiling. Do you see how ridiculous it sounds when you hear from somebody else's story? I hope when you're listening to my story, you can really hear how ridiculous you are being right now. Unless you have communicated what you need from the next person, you've got no right or no business being angry with them. So sort yourself out, bring yourself back to yourself, and go apologize for being such a loser. Because right now, in this situation, you being angry, it's basically you being a loser, right? Because people can never think the way you do. As much as you don't think the way other people do, you must accept the people around you for who they are. You must accept how they perceive life. And if you are not willing to communicate your needs, or you're not willing to communicate the boundaries that you want to set for the people in your life, don't expect them to, by some miracle, know what your boundaries are, right? Don't expect them to give you what you need when you haven't communicated it. People do not read minds, not unless, of course, you are dating a mind reader, you are dating a prophet. Maybe you will say, I expected this person, to know better because they are a prophet. But if you know your partner is not gifted in that way, then guys, we've got no business making assumptions. And it is because of these assumptions that we lose our peace on a daily basis. So if you are angry, you know what? I'm not trying to make light of your situation, but I'm just saying, look at this situation from the next person's point of view. Does it make sense? How were they supposed to know what you want? Did you communicate it? If you didn't communicate it, how were they supposed to read your mind? So do you still believe truly, like now, after listening to this, that you've got a right to be angry? I don't think so. So swallow your pride, eat humble pie, and go apologize and tell the people why you were angry, because you made some assumptions, but now you're going to tell them what you needed from them, right? You're going to let them know what you wanted in the first place, so that you give them the opportunity to show you whether they will do it or not. So guys, let's stop making assumptions, for peace sake. I am Pulaa Montz, your inner peace and purpose coach.